Hey everyone, AI gateways are becoming very popular and they're quickly becoming a standard when it comes to agent deployments. So what even is an AI gateway? If you're building a product, service, application, an AI gateway stands in between your application and the model and inference providers. So why would you want to do that? Why would you want to add another layer of possible latency before, and these providers are not free, so what is the benefit there? So there are 5 big reasons why you'd want to use an AI gateway. Those 5 reasons are 1, routing, 2, caching, 3, observability, 4, cost controls, and 5, governance. Routing itself can mean a few things and can have several benefits. To start, even if you're using a closed source model that's provided by OpenAI, Anthropic, they may have different providers. OpenAI's models can be provided directly from OpenAI or through Azure. Anthropic models can be provided directly from Anthropic, through AWS, or through Google GCP. Even Google's Gemini 3 model that just came out, oddly enough, you can get it directly through Vertex or AI Studio, and I'm still figuring that one out. And even if you're using open source models, there are several providers that will offer those for you. Now, why is that important? Each one of these providers can have different levels of latency and different levels of uptime. If you look at OpenRouter, you can scan through and see which ones have better reliability or latency across them. So there's 1, that health-based routing, and 2 is fallback. So you can actually fall back to different models that can get the job done. And lastly, a benefit that's related to routing is having a unified endpoint. You don't have to create wrappers or libraries for every single model. You just have one endpoint, you just swap the model and provider and you're ready to go.
And this is something we do here at Datadog a lot. We use a AI proxy or gateway to make it so that any of the people within the company who are trying out new agents, building new systems, working with AI products, don't have to go and set up that integration every single time. We can put everything that we need in the same place, single location, and decide if we want to swap out backends ourselves, depending on cost and things like that.
Yeah, it makes experimentation a lot easier. The second benefit is around caching. So individual model providers do offer a level of caching, but you don't have caching at a global level. So if you're using different providers that have caching and certain providers that don't have caching, you may not realize where things are being routed. So having a global layer of caching lets you save some money for queries that happen all the time. So tutorial queries, common Q&As, you have that global layer of caching on top of any model layer caching. The third benefit is observability. The moment you have an AI gateway that's a centralized place, you can actually route, if you're using a solution like LM Observability from Datadog or an evals provider, it gives you one place to instrument. You can also use the AI gateway's observability solution.
But it makes it much easier to enforce. I mean, we've seen teams hop in, and if they're not using using a shared proxy or gateway, they might not log everything that we want them to. But it's a lot easier to say, hey, use this, simple API, everything goes straight to where we want it so we can check it out later.
So it's all in one place. You don't have to go through instrumentation hell to make sure you have every single item, every single log going through your log provider, your metrics provider.
Exactly.
The fourth benefit is cost management. Again, the model providers, the inference providers themselves may have budgeting, but you don't have global levels of budgeting. So instead of having it model by model, you can actually do something global or have it across teams or across services. So you set your budget. This is commonly referred to as FinOps or cost management, but having this at the AI gateway level gives you that global control.
And it gives the team that's managing that gateway in these cases control of it too. You can provide virtual keys so that you can say, hey, all of us use OpenAI at this cost, at this, with this key, with this company, with this org, but this team has this virtual key, so I can track exactly what team is spending how much and put limits on that if I want to.
And the last item is governance. What governance allows you to do is actually manage what makes it through the AI gateway. Before it reaches the third-party models, you decide what is allowed to basically exfiltrate your systems and hit these model providers. If you want to preserve any PII or any sensitive data, it will not leave your premises or your services before it hits the model.
Single place really to put guardrails.
Yeah.
Single place to even do some extra work that might be very specific to your domain or your particular task or your particular company.
Yeah, a very common guardrail is PII. So you can do regex to see what looks like PII. It could be simple keyword matching. You can flag certain keywords, or you can even run a smaller LLM to gauge if there is toxic behavior or some type of content you don't want to send to models. You could even fine tune a very, very small model that does this check, and there's a trade-off there around latency. So it's really up to you and your use case how you want to leverage governance there. And we're going to actually dive into an example of a gateway called Light LLM.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about that. There are a wide number of gateways out there. We should probably list a few, put them somewhere around
We'll
here.
have a list right here.
I'm going to talk about Light LLM because there's a few things I like about it. One is it's open source, which is nice, so you can self-host it. Two is it's really just been around in the community for a while, so people have various solutions for using it. They have their own hosted version too if you want to use that, but it's really easy to understand. And it's all Python-based as well, which is nice. Light LLM is one of these gateways. I'm going to actually talk about the proxy part. They have two different things. They have an SDK, which makes it so that you just unify the interface, but that you don't actually have this gateway sitting between your code and the providers. And then they have an actual proxy, which is more like what we're talking about, where you can host this proxy, which is where every data, all the data goes through, all the queries go through, and that proxy decides who to route it to. I'll show you a few things that I did to try this out super quick. First is that you can run the proxy in Docker. They give you already a Docker setup, everything nice and clean. I'm running the Light LLM proxy locally right now. And this means this is the place where every single query will go through. So if there was another team using this and I was hosting it somewhere like AWS or in our own infrastructure, this is what you'd hit. In order to hit it, let me bring up my cursor. In order to hit it, it's pretty straightforward. You can do, this is the backend code that I have right now, but I'll show you a really simple example code. You basically just set the API base. So this is where that proxy lives. Right now it's locally. And you have your messages and your model that you want to hit. And notice how the API is effectively the same for GPT-4o or for Claude Opus 4, even though we're going to be routing one to Anthropic and one to OpenAI. I wrote a quick little test application to show you how you might use this.
Are you running this on like EC2? You said it's local, but where would
local.
Someone actually deploy this? A ECR?
So in our case, for like the agent platform that we've been playing with, that could be sitting in ECS. So
Okay.
it might just be another containerized application that you're hitting, or EKS. And depending on the situation, you can just run this Dockerized container, this Dockerized proxy container, anywhere you want.
Got it.
And then at that point, that becomes the URL you're hitting. For purposes of just showing people here, this is all local right now, but I have a little React app front end that I wrote that makes it so that I can just hit the proxy for two different calls to two different models. I only have two models in my,
Yeah.
This is the other nice thing, you can pick whatever models you want and say these are the ones available to my team or my company. Right now I've whitelisted OpenAI GPT-4o and Anthropic Claude Opus 4. So let's do something, let's say, find me some good places to eat. No one ever uses the restaurant one, right? I would do flights, but you know.
But then you got to do tool calling.
Then you got to do tool calling. I didn't set any of that up yet. So this will go and run off and get both of these. And you can see quickly GPT-4o came back with a question, probably the right thing to do. Claude Opus 4 came back as well with a few questions, and you can see they have a very different feel for how their responses were. But it's kind of cool. You can go back to single place to see all this information. I can go and see, oh yes, this, scroll down, routed all through a single proxy, my single container. So this is where my logs are happening. This is where I could have added some guardrails, anything like that. Lastly, I'll show you a few things that are also nice about having the centralized location. Light LLM and many of the other proxies come with a single UI as well, your controls.
Yeah.
But you can imagine this is logged wherever you want it, so whatever UI you want. And I can see what's my usage looking like. Oh, Claude Opus 4 and GPT-4o. I believe this is just because Claude is more expensive, so they're showing more usage there. I can go and say which models do I actually have I made available to the people in my company and my team. I can even assign teams if I want and have different models for different teams and assign these virtual keys that I mentioned earlier, so I can track cost at a per team or per user level if I want to, separate from the OpenAI and Anthropic and everyone else like that. It's very nice because it centralizes all this information and makes it so that it's a lot easier for me as a enterprise dev manager trying to run a bunch of different teams that are building agents.
Yeah.
One place that I can have my single control team kind of manage everything. I think there's a lot of really good potential here. And if you're building an agent platform or you're building an agent service, or you just want to make it easier for people within your company to use various models for their systems, this kind of thing takes 20 minutes to deploy, set up, and makes life a lot easier for everyone else on your team.
Two thoughts I have. One is, when do you think this is actually viable or useful? Do you think a company that's just getting started should jump in and just have this? Like OpenRouter tends to tell people, hey, just get started. It's just the compelling piece is a simple unified endpoint. You can just try things. Is that too early, or do you think the benefits are worth it?
I think the benefits are worth it as long as there's more than like 1 or 2 people on your team. But what I would do is I would probably start with the hosted version. Just go to LiteLLM or any of the other products out there. I don't want to just show LiteLLM.
Yeah.
But go to Portkey, LiteLLM, anyone out there, Pydantic, like a variety of other folks have these gateways. Even Vercel nowadays has one. Get that set up. Make it so that you can just quickly add anyone to your organization or your team, and start with that.
Okay. Alrighty. Thanks.
No problem.
Take care.